So welcome everybody to the unblinded, real, raw. My name's Fernando, and I'm excited to like jump in it today. And if you're wondering like what's happening here, if it's your first time here, let's like talk about it for a second. It's only the greatest experiential hack in training, marketing, and development like ever on the planet. And we do it every single day with really cool contestants, some amazing judges, and we like display some things here. And like things is really a thing. We display that integrity-based human influence is a superpower. It is present throughout these next 60 minutes together, and this is where you learn it. What it's gonna look like is we're gonna get to talk, get to know each other, have the opportunity to truly build rapport, and then jump into a little demonstration. So to start it off, Sean Callaghy, what say you today as we jump off to like our 80-something Real Raw?
So what say I is, first of all, thank you. Thank you for being here, our amazing contestants, our amazing judges, role player, Tony Rodriguez is like rocking out every day like a rock star. Thank you. What else is also present for me, other than being a superpower, is this simple reality. The people in this first section get to know each other. Like acknowledgement, validation, creation is present. I was just talking to somebody today, a name you would know, who was like with a name you would know on the Real Raw, and they just had a like 6-figure agreement happen over something. It was amazing. So people are like, and I'm hearing this consistently, relationships are being built. So the Real Raw is not just about the amazing unlocking of influence as a superpower, it's also about the merger of ecosystems and the relationship creation amongst the people. And beautiful things are happening. So with that said, Fernando, by the way, thank you for being the greatest of the unblinded formula, and for training like an absolute maniac in it, and for being as optimal, the most optimal trainer of the formula that in 23 years I began creating it I've ever seen. So thank you, brother, for the beautiful intro and for being in the world.
Thank you, sir. All because of your training. I love this formula and it works. So Vivian, like what's happening? Who do we got? Who's competing today?
Can we, before we start, and hello everyone, can we just put on mute everyone who's not talking because we're getting some feedback?
Oh, thank you, Vivian.
Thank you so much.
So let's rock, Vivian.
We have Fred Pinto in the house. He is a renowned intellectual property and technology lawyer whose passion is helping innovative entrepreneurs grow and exit their businesses. He teaches and writes globally on issues of law, business, and technology. He's launching his first online course called Fit to Exit in the fall of 2020, designed to guide business owners toward their ideal exits.
Oh.
Welcome.
Fred,
what's up, Unblinded crew?
How are you, Fred?
I am fantastic, thank you. It's always such a pleasure to be here, such a jolt of energy. Just knowing I was going to be here today, my energy level is like 30% higher, so thank you.
So Fred and I met in the Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership. Scott Humphrey introduced us and said, hey, Sean, can you help Fred see what he doesn't see about Platinum Partnership? Thankfully, Fred said yes. I think his wife was incredibly frightened at the yes. She was like, who is this guy, Sean Callaghy, that's talking about this? And I think he might just be dangerous. And Fred, how have things gone since then? Other than the fact that, we have interesting dynamics occurring on a daily basis and fun and excitement, but how have things gone, my friend?
You know, I weigh my words for a living, so I'm going to use a big word. But to me, it has been an absolute rebirth. And things were going fantastically well before, but this relationship has been a true portal for me. I could not have imagined the amount of exponential growth that I would go through mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. It's been an absolute blessing. And I look back on it, and I'm really thankful that I had the courage to say yes, but I felt it, Sean, from that first interaction, you and I felt it in your heart that there was something right about this. I felt the integrity, and I said yes, and I'm extremely thankful on a daily basis for being here with you.
And I honor your wisdom and amazingness in the world, Fred. So thank you, brother.
Thank you,
Vivian, we have like another amazing soul.
Yes, we do. We have Mercedes in the house, and she is an internationally recognized speaker and consultant. Her clients call her the Master Manifester. For the past 10 years, she's been a keynote speaker and consulted in 49 of the 50 United States and abroad. And her work has generated millions of dollars for her clients, of which she's impacted the lives of millions. Mercedes helps people tap into the power of their thoughts and words to create more peace, productivity, and prosperity. Welcome, Mercedes.
Mercedes, how are you? Is Mercedes muted?
Mercedes, you are muted, girl. So bottom left, boom. Oh, muted again, almost. Wait for it. Tick, tick, tick. 3, 2, 1. You're live.
I am well today. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So where are you physically in the world today? We have Fred coming from our northern border in the U.S. here in Canada. Where are you?
I am physically in North Carolina.
That is a beautiful thing, and welcome. I think you've been a judge on the Real Raw, correct?
Yes. Thank you for remembering. Yes, I was a judge a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and how does it feel to be back as a participant?
I'm glad to be back. Excited.
We're excited to have you here, Mercedes, so thank you so much. And joining Fred and Mercedes as participants are 3 incredible assessors. We call them judges here, but like we're not like judging people. We're just like judging like influence. So what's up, Vivian? Who do we got?
We have Rocio Camacho. She is the founder of RCC and Associates Insurance and Accounting Firm, entrepreneur since the age of 16. Founder of the Georgia National Hispanic Heritage Alliance, co-creator of Hispanic Fest, celebrating Hispanic heritage, and she's wearing a t-shirt that says, CEO. Oh, welcome, Rocio.
And not only all of that, but you're like a roommate of Mona, like traveling around the world, in addition to being a CEO rock star and entrepreneur.
Hey, Sean. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday to you all. I'm so excited to be here. I'm honored. Thank you so much for the invitation. And yes, Mona, she's an amazing roommate. I'm sure you know now, right? So it's awesome. Great. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy. I'm honored. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm ready. I'm excited. So what else can I say? Let's bring it.
Let's bring it. Thank you, Rocio. Thank you. So, Vivian, 2 more amazing rock stars.
I know. We have Jake Cortez. I'm liking all these Latin last names here today.
I like that.
Experienced owner of a call center with rock star sales results, extensive knowledge of culture development in-house and client-facing marketing outside of his professional mission of co-creating new possibilities for enlightened capitalism to flourish. He does outreach for at-risk teens. Welcome, Jake.
Jake, how are you?
Thank you. Amazing. I'm doing fantastic here in Phoenix, Arizona. Good to see your face. Good to see everybody's smiling faces, all this energy. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, well, every day, thank you. And every day is certainly not like this, and not everybody here is connected in this way. But
Yes.
there's definite Tony Robbins ecosystem vibe today. So I say thank you to Tony, Platinum Partnership, Scott Humphrey, for the beautiful connections and introductions. So Jake, the world and a privilege.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And Vivian, we have last and certainly not least.
I don't see a video, and I'm not sure if Anthony Delgado is here, but we're supposed to have an Anthony Delgado. There you are.
Oh, wow. We got a lot of peeps I know up in this place. Oh, man. Introduce this man.
Just like a Latin Monopoly takeover today. Here we go. Founder and editor-in-chief, Disrupt Magazine, host of the Disrupt podcast. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you guys for having me.
Anthony, how are you?
Also in that, I'm in the Fernando alumni. I'm in the Tony Robbins alumni. So looks like there's a lot of synergies in the group. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
And Anthony, I'm sorry, where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling in from beautiful Puerto Rico.
Whoa.
Beautiful San Juan, Puerto Rico. You guys should come visit. The temperatures are high and the taxes are low. So you guys should definitely come visit.
That's amazing. Anthony, I had my nearest death scuba diving experience in Puerto Rico. And it was quite an interesting excursion, but it was fun. Really wild.
Yeah, I don't think the sharks bite over here. They're very nice.
Yes, they are nice sharks.
Okay, Sean, I'm curious how you could say that a near-death experience was fun.
Yeah, so I mean, the 60-second version, 30-second version is we had an expat, retired Army officer, amazing guy, that was our dive master, and he made a little mistake. And we were off one of the amazing islands that is off the mainland. And we were, he sent us with the current, mistakenly, not away from the current, going. And so we were like in this beautiful like little bay. We surfaced because he got lost underwater, our guide, and it was like 5 of us. And he surfaced outside in the open ocean, and we were drifting like rapidly. And there were 2 completely inexperienced divers. One woman who was in a flat out panic, on her back, eyes closed, like, arms across her body, breathing, like sucking down her air like crazy. And he's like, all right, like, who wants to come and like try to make it back underwater with me? And I'm like, dude, if we leave these people alone, they're going to die. So he left by himself. And we were, probably by that point, pushing a mile away from the boat, couldn't see the boat because we were like around the curve of the island. And so if he doesn't make it back, like, there's a whole bunch of different variables, but we all made it. And the most insane part of the entire excursion was that he just like took us on the second dive, like nothing had happened. This woman like was almost like, lying to death. So when I think of the beautiful, incredible, wonderful island of Puerto Rico, it is hard not to remember one of the most beautiful dives I've ever been on, but one of the craziest. So Anthony, welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we have also the incredible role player, Tony Rodriguez, a dear friend, Mr. Get Up and Grow, impacting lives. Tony, what do you share, brother? Like, what are you up to in the world? Like, what makes you get up and do all the things that you do each and every day?
So there's two people with the same name. Go right ahead. I apologize.
Rodriguez, I'm sorry.
No worries. Listen, so, I've been, again, aside from being an entrepreneur for the last 30 years and being involved in real estate, still involved in real estate as well. I've been in the personal development space, obviously, knowing most of the people here through the Tony Robbins world. I'm a trainer with Tony Robbins as well. And for the last, 20 years, I've been learning and growing about myself and my own past. And now I help people, grow through what they go through by, helping turn decades into days and help people get up and grow, right? Because most people just get up and go. And I'm here to help people get up and grow. So, because so many people are just stuck in their past and their story and in the pain of whatever they've gone through. And to be honest, what am I? Well, I don't like that, to be honest. We actually spoke about that the other day. What I'm doing and what I'm enjoying doing is impacting lives and connecting people, and having intentional conversations on a daily basis through ecosystem mergers and interesting opportunities that abound. And I've lately, over the last couple of years, I get up every morning early and go for walks, but I've gotten up extra early. So I've been really capturing a lot of sunsets and wildlife just at dawn and at sunrise. So it's been, live in New Jersey, beautiful New Jersey, the Garden State. And it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but beautiful. So enjoying life.
You're a beautiful soul, amazing man. And thank you for being here. And I think it's like time to drop in. Tony, what do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. And Vivian, thank you. Rockstar, bring the energy every day, like the hostess with the mostest, period. As the cheesy, like, dad joke cliche. Yes, thank you.
I love it. I'm eating it up.
Amazing job. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Here's what we do. Fred, Mercedes, you've both been here before. For those that haven't known the judges, it's 1 6-minute conversation cut in half. 3 minutes, then 3 minutes, like that's what's happening. This is not about selling anything. It's about going from hello to yes. You could actually have a monetary transaction, the exchange of a product for sure. You don't have to. It could be a hello to yes about some problem that's facing the world right now. And God knows we have like huge ones. It could be a hello to yes about a charity. It could be a hello to yes about a book deal, a speaking engagement, or the very products you offer. Anything that you want. Mercedes and Fred will get to set that scenario. And that's how it works. In the first half, it's singularly about opening up the listening, putting something at stake. How you build emotional rapport, putting something at stake. In the second half of the conversation, it's about conveying your unique identity heroically to solve that challenge and agreement formation. Note. First round, there's no need to talk about yourself for the participant. There's no need. It's about listening, opening up the relationship, and putting something at stake. There's also no need to form an agreement. Tony's just gonna be like, hey, I just gotta grab a phone call, be right back. They're not supposed to set up like the second part. Like, hey, thanks, talk to you in a minute. So it's just about emotional rapport building, putting something at stake. The second round, we'll talk about agreement formation, all that good stuff. We'll get there in a little bit. So Mercedes, I think you are from, actually, I don't know. Fred, who do you think is, or Mercedes, who do you think is from further away, you or Fred? Fred, you are sitting in Montreal, correct?
That's right. On the East Coast.
So Mercedes has got to be from further away, correct?
Seems like it, yeah. I think North Carolina is further away from New Jersey than Montreal is, yeah. We're really close.
Yeah, I think so. So Mercedes, I have either a 1 or a 2 under the table. What do you think it is? Think you may be muted, Mercedes?
I'm going with 1. 1. Going with 1.
It is a 2. So Fred has choice. Fred, would you like to go first in the first round, and then Mercedes will have choice in the second round, or second in the first round, and then, I'm sorry, first in the first round and retain your choice, or second in the first round, and Mercedes would have choice in that second round? What do you choose?
So I'll go first in the first round, and then leave the choice to Mercedes for the second round.
Yeah, you retain choice. All good. So are you, Fred, what's with the scenario that you'd like to do with Tony?
So I get to pick a scenario?
Yes, sir. You get to see who Tony is, and whatever, who he is, could be himself or somebody else, whatever scenario you like.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm typically like all about helping innovative entrepreneurs. And so Tony could be perhaps a startup entrepreneur, somebody that just closed a round of financing and looking to scale his company, looking to grow his company in a direction where he eventually wants to exit it. And we'd perhaps have a conversation about how we might be able to help along that process.
Okay, cool. So Tony would have secured financing. The company could be about anything he wants. Yeah, so Tony, sound good?
Sounds great.
Yeah, amazing. Fred, 3 minutes. Take us in, brother.
Hello, Tony.
Hey, Fred, how are you?
How's it going?
All good.
Amazing. So I hear you guys just secured your funding, your round 1.
Yes, indeed.
Congratulations about that. The process was not too painful, hopefully.
Well, you know, there's always a little bit of pain associated with financing.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, it's like an old story that one of my clients used to tell me with one of his investors receiving funds. And after the funds came in, the investor goes, okay, what are you really going to spend the money on now? So it's like, not, in a sense, your challenges begin now in you, right? That's right. That's right. You got to make sure you put them in the right place. It's too easy to have the funding and then all of a sudden start, you know, doing things that don't align with the primary mission. That's right. So what is the primary mission from your perspective? Listen, changing the world, one life, one company at a time. Yeah. Nice. And how do you guys feel that you can move the needle along that mission? Like what's your particular value proposition that you feel that you're going to bring to the table that's really going to make a difference? So we're doing life and business strategy and innovation, right? So we go in and help turn around companies that aren't doing well and helping them to improve everything from culture to productivity to everything that, you know, to really increase their bottom line. That's awesome. It sounds like definitely there's a lot of companies out there that definitely need that. Sounds like you guys have your finger on the pulse there. Yeah, in today's market especially, right? There's a lot of people in a lot of struggle, a lot of pain, and just having to change that around. That's right. A lot of confusion out there. If you guys can help solve that, if you guys can help people focus on the right things, I think there's massive value there. Agreed. And so what would be your like just operationally, like what would be your major challenge or challenges that you feel that you need help in order to sort of bring this mission to be in the world at a high level? It's really just about scaling and making sure that we bring in the right talent and then have the right exposure to bring in the right customers and the right executives. And really, we're looking at companies that are doing north of $5 million and up. Of course, we also help smaller companies, but we're looking for the companies that have 20, 30, 40, 50 plus employees. That's interesting. Have you guys set up a board of advisors yet, of sort of senior consultants, professionals who can maybe, bring on, really, really elite level consulting and contacts and networking and relationship forming? Have you guys worked on that process yet?
Tony, you got about 20 seconds?
Yeah, well, listen, I've got to take a call in about 20 seconds, but yes, we've got about 5 or 6 people that are coming together on that. Yes, but always looking for to add someone to the Brain Trust for sure.
Really cool. So Tony, I would love to schedule a follow-up call. Maybe get a little bit deeper in terms of your operational needs. Listen, we represent entrepreneurs like you. We've helped them scale and grow and exit their businesses in the past. Would love to get a little bit deeper in the story here and see if we can find a way to guide you guys, help you guys along that process. Sounds like you guys are up to a lot of amazing things already.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, great. Gotta run.
Yeah. Hey, Fred, how'd that feel for you, bud?
Felt amazing. Felt like what I do every day.
Awesome. Tony, if you had one word for your encounter with Fred, what would the one word be?
It was good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so let us drop in. We'll get back to more in a bit. I just like that one word frame. Tony, we'll get to your feedback in a bit, if that's okay. So let us start today with Rocio. In our feedback, if we could, about 30 seconds for Fred on what you thought worked and what was a growth opportunity for him. So what worked, what was a growth opportunity, please.
Yes, so I really liked how he asked a lot of questions. That was really good. And one question followed another question, so that was great. One thing that I think missed a little growth was the enthusiasm, just a little bit more enthusiastic, and because it sounded a little stealthy. But
Got it. A little bit more heart-centered than head-centered.
I'm sorry?
A little bit more heart-centered than
yes.
head.
Yes.
And how about, and what'd you have for a score, Rocio, on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would give him a 7.5.
Beautiful. Okay. Jake, what do you got, sir?
I have, yes, I'm going to lead in with, I had the same thing written down that Rocio did. Amazing questions. Amazing leading with the questions and getting Tony to kind of provide him feedback and stuff like that. Enthusiasm-wise, I think that he was fairly enthusiastic, but maybe he could have talked more about, instead of like the operation of what Tony was doing, but him as a person and what excites him.
Cool. So thank you, Jake. What did you have for a score?
I have about a 6.
Okay.
Okay.
And Anthony, what did you have? If we got Anthony.
Is that Delgado? You have to change to only speaking by last name.
Delgado, what do you have, sir?
You guys hear me? It looks like I might have froze up a little bit.
Yep, we hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was very a real soft pitch. I think you explained what you do. But it kind of felt like you were reading off of a cue card. Like that part definitely needed some more enthusiasm. And I would have been left, I feel like if I was on the other end of the call, I would have been left desiring a little bit more. It was like, hey, let's schedule a follow-up call. But I wasn't enrolled in why I should schedule that follow-up call. And, I think like that part in particular definitely needed some more enthusiasm.
Yeah. So awesome. What'd you have for a score, Anthony?
I'd give it a 7.
Okay, cool. So let's drop in Mercedes. I have a couple of quick access points because Fred is congruent, articulate, brilliant, amazing, wonderful. I have 2 little access points that after Mercedes goes, we have to Mercedes, so we'll come back and we'll unlock it critically valuable things. So Mercedes, how are you?
I am well, and let me say it's Mercedes. I always tell people think of Exodus, Mercedes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm hard at it. Practice before we started. Mercedes, is that right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, Mercedes. What is the scenario?
I'm getting feedback. Say it again.
Who would you like Tony to be? What would you like your scenario to be?
I would like Tony to be the person who has the ability to either open the door or roll out the red carpet to the main stage, either as a benefactor, a supporter, a promoter, somebody who helps get the message out to the world.
Okay. So, and he, okay, so he could be a promoter that puts people on stage. Is that what I'm hearing?
The big stage, yes.
The big stage. Got it.
Yes.
Tony, you ready to be the man that is going to open the door to the big stage for Mercedes?
Ready?
All right, 3 minutes, drop in.
Hey, Tony, it's so glad to speak with you. So share with me, how did you get my contact information?
Another speaker gave me your information.
So very good. So thank you for reaching out to me, and share with me, Tony, when you are looking to secure somebody or to promote somebody, what are the 3 key things that really you look to make sure it's a good fit for you?
I make sure that I look for somebody that's got integrity and that their message, that they're actually walking their talk. So integrity is a big part. I look for a compelling message that that serves the world, and I look for I guess proof of process, or proof of process. Like, what maybe some of the people that you've worked with in the past, or what some of the successes you've had on other people's stages, and how you show up in the world.
Very good. So those 3 things are extremely helpful. I did hear you say a compelling message that serves the world. So what typically resonates with you when you say a compelling message?
Really, it's about the message. It's not about the product that somebody's trying to sell. You know, the world is full of salespeople that are just go on stage, and their goal of going on stage is selling their product, instead of, I'm really more about contribution first. And if someone's going to come to an event that that I'm putting on, or that I'm part of, that they're there to garner knowledge and to learn and to grow themselves, not just to be a pitch fest to be sold to.
So who would you say, in all the speakers that you have had the honor of taking to the main stage, who would you say is the one who's impacted you the most, and what change did it cause you to bring about in your own existence?
Well, that would be Tony Robbins. And that would be because through Tony, I realized that the things that have happened and he does this for so many, but the things that happened in my life that I thought were negatives were actually positives. And it's really about, so that's the message that I got from him, is realizing that life is happening for me, not to me. And that, you know, in difficult times that I feel, and that we feel, that we're being knocked off course, we're actually just being put on the course we're meant to be on.
Very good. And so as you work with speakers and they're working to get on their course, what's one of the main things that you look for to ensure that they are, 1, stage ready, and 2, worthy of your name being connected to them?
Tony, you got to grab a call in a moment.
So I got to grab this call, but I will say that again, it really is about integrity, and knowing that they are who they say that they are, and that's how they're showing up in the world. Because some people are different on stage than they are in person, and I don't resonate with that. And I think that there's a lack of integrity there, and I don't think that there's a power of influence if you're not in integrity, if you're not an integrous human being. So
very good. That's extremely.
I got to run on this call.
Okay.
All right.
So listen, I know you have to run on the call, but when you have an opportunity, I'd love to share with you how the integrity of what I do and how I do and who I do it for, the compelling message that I have for the world and how people have been able to transform their lives, as well as the proven methods that I use, how it can be beneficial for us as a connection with speaker and promoter. So I'm looking forward to talking to you again.
Okay, great. Gotta go. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mercedes. Excellent job. How did that feel for you?
It felt good. It felt good.
If you had one word, what would the word be?
My one word would be longing. I wanted to say more, but I realized I was supposed to be listening.
Okay. And Tony, how about yourself if you had one word?
Curious.
All right, Jake, what do you have?
I think her open was very strong. I believe her open was super strong. I like the question, not just that she was asking questions, but the quality of questions she was asking was very strong. How she carried the conversation. I love it. She did well.
All right, what do you have for a score?
I have 8.5.
Excellent. Mr. Anthony Delgado, what say you, sir?
As far as a score, I would say a 7. Again, I think it was definitely room for improvement, but definitely good. And yeah, I would say I liked, it's very professional, very, very professional, which I liked. And I think the improvement could probably just be a little more enthusiasm. I think sometimes if you smile, a trick for me is I'll smile even if I'm on an audio only call, and that'll make it make the smile kind of go through even if it's just a phone call.
Cool. Thank you, sir. And Rocio, what do you have?
Okay, so I loved how she kept asking questions to reassure and to clarify and verify that she was understanding what he meant. Like she really wanted to understand him or whatever it is that he was saying. Clarifying and verifying was great. Only thing I would improve, maybe it was just a little slow. But other than that, I would give it a 7.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to drop in. Thank you very much, judges, for round 1. Couple quick thoughts. I think an access point for both Fred and Mercedes was why. So what I heard the word enthusiasm a number of times. Beautiful word, judges. I might move that into emotional and energetic transference. Emotional and energetic transference. And for the dynamic of emotional and energetic transference, an access point would be to ask why. So let's just play with that for a second, right? And in addition to how you ask. So, right, 7% of our communication, the words we utter, 38% is our vocal qualities, pitch, tone, acceleration, speed, and 55% is our body language. So Tony Rodriguez, please. Hey, Tony, so I'm hearing you're doing all this stuff with business owners and $5 million and up, still want to help smaller business owners. Can I ask you a question though, Tony?
Sure.
Yeah, like why are you doing all this?
Well, I think that the question is asked of me sometimes when the conversation is this very question. And when talking about avatars and who your perfect client is, I go back to who it was that I needed when I was going through struggles with my business.
Pause. Case closed. Tony, how connected do you feel as you're answering that question, even though we're in role play?
It's actually the truth. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because I'm trying to be the mentor or the hand up that I needed when I was going through it that wasn't there, or it may have been that I just didn't have access.
How much does that build a connection between us?
Tremendous, because it just hit right on. You went right again. When the message is said from the heart, it goes to the heart, right? It gets listened to in the heart. So that's exactly what you did. You just, to use Jonathan Cohen's thing with the bow and arrow, boom, it was a shot to the heart.
Absolutely. And so, and when I share is for all those listening, it's not just the question. It's like, so, hey, Tony, it's matching Tony's energy, head to like in curiosity, authentically revealing to Tony, like, I care. Like, so why are you doing this? Like, I'm engaged. I'm in my body, right? So I say that heart, we say be in our heart. I think that happens when we're in our body physically, like we're engaged physically, like leaning forward, like why, right? And authentically present. So that's all. And that shift like opens access. And now there's emotion being transferred between us. So Tony is now bringing the emotion into the conversation versus having me to manufacture energy towards him. Tony is emotionally engaged, and emotional engagement doesn't have to mean hyperbolic. It doesn't have to mean, hey, like the way we started the show, like, hey, it's the real raw, like, how you doing? Like, that's fun, like show starting energy. In human interaction, one-on-one, energy is exchanged at a deeper level. Like there's surface, that was surface energy flowing, right? Real energy is like, hey, so like, how you doing? Like, what's up? Like real energy, emotional energy is why. Yeah, that's it. So does that, Rocio, I don't know, your thoughts, how does that feel for you?
Oh, that was good. I'm taking notes. It was pretty, I could see the difference for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So fantastic. So, and one of the great challenges is, right, for all of us is that we are, the first element, the first dynamic, first step of going from hello to yes with people is opening their listening. And I thought Fred did such a beautiful job of sitting inside of questions. And one additional question with a slight raising. Now, by the way, Fred and Mercedes are sitting here vulnerably doing this in front of people. It's a very unnatural dynamic. And thank you to both of them for the courage. 2 micro shifts, the why question asked and the fully being present in the body, like present to the answer, creates an exponential shift in the depth of connection. Like there is nobody that shouldn't be working in the space of innovation law with Fred Pinto, right? The question is, how is that received in the conversation? And by the way, Fred does an incredible job when he has an hour with people because he just like here's my hallucination. Fred is so fantastic at being articulate, congruent, and his Zeus energy coming forward of how much he has to share, that over the course of a lengthier encounter, like that is fully received. In like a shrinking, like a shorter burst encounter with somebody, like in that moment, I think Fred is remembered for being brilliant. And my question is, from somebody who's already uber successful, what happens when Fred's heart is known? Because Fred is also one of the most heart-centered, authentic, integrous people I've ever met in my entire life. And so it's interesting that Jake would say, like, salesy, right? Because in that short encounter, that was what was present for Jake. So integrity-based human influence is about how we reveal the truth of who we are. Because if that's how Jake perceived Fred in that moment, this encounter, it's not true. It was true for Jake, but that's not who Fred actually is. The challenge is it's incumbent upon Fred, us, the communicator, to make sure that's what's received by others, right? Fred, thoughts, feelings?
Muted. You're muted, Fred.
Sorry, Sean. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because in a short encounter, there's so much that you want to sort of convey in that limited little stream of consciousness that you have. That yeah, a lot of times I have a tendency to maybe go more to the head and analyze analytically what the person needs. But in reality, the human connection is also extremely important. And you're right. Over the course of a longer interaction, that's less of a challenge because you have more bandwidth. But just bringing that to a higher level of consciousness for myself, understanding that you need to really sit down on those emotions, create that emotional rapport, I think ultimately could help me assess the person's needs a little bit quicker and establish that emotional rapport a little bit quicker. So I definitely take the point.
Yeah, and Fred, you know what I think? I think there's great irony here. Because the great irony is it is your desire to help and give in that encounter, which perhaps could come across as not a deep enough connection and therefore a little salesy in that moment.
Yeah.
So this whole dynamic is about revealing truth. And the truth is, I think that's what it's rooted in, but we have the infinite ability, all of us, to misperceive each other, right? So, and this whole dynamic is about how are we seen for what and who we actually are. So this has been amazing. So thank you, judges, for the feedback. And Jake, thank you for the courage, in giving the feedback. There's judges that come on and they're super nice and warm. Your integrous feedback was incredibly supportive to creating access for everybody today. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's go round two. Fred, you went first in round one, so it's your choice in round two. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go second in round two.
Cool. All right. Mercedes, are you ready for round two?
Yes.
Am I saying that? Am I saying it correctly now? Because I'm usually very efficient at appropriate pronunciation. I feel like I'm struggling. Am I getting it now or am I not getting it still?
Mercedes. Mercedes.
Could you say it one more time?
Yes, Mercedes.
Mercedes. Exodus, Mercedes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Mercedes, are you ready?
Yes.
Please drop in.
Hey, Mercedes. So let me just say this because you caught me off guard. This is off script. You caught me off guard before because I thought you were calling me and not me calling you. So I would just encourage for the exercise, it's best for you to try to be convincing me to bring you on the stage because you wanted the stage. And it was like I was looking to buy you, like to get you on instead of you getting on the stage. So just a tweak. I don't know how you want to take that and how you want to move forward with it. But anyway, so just however you want to go with it, we'll roll. So hi, Mercedes.
Yeah, so what I would say is in this round, just share your amazingness. Now, Tony shared what he's looking for. Just deliver how you solve that and how amazing you are and move forward to a yes.
So Tony, first and foremost, let me say thank you for the opportunity to be in your presence. I know how much you revere Tony Robbins, and he has made a difference for so many of us. So I appreciate you sharing that. Yes, he is the one who has had the most compelling message with you. What I'd like you to know is that for me, the compelling message that I have for people is undergirded, yes, with integrity. And when I say it's undergirded with integrity, I have people who I have worked with like you, from CEOs to $100 million corporations to the person who is homeless, who can let you know not only do I say what I teach, but I practice what I preach. And I know that's extremely important for you. I also know that it's important for you about the service that people give. And while, yes, I desire and deserve to be paid well for what I do, I want you to know that for more than 10 years, I have been in almost every prison in the state of North Carolina, providing the power of thoughts and words to those about to re-enter society. In addition to that, I have worked with who most people call the least amongst us. So working with entities like Homeland Security, with colleges and universities, with leaders of great organizations and entities, as well as working with those who other people want nothing to do with. That is the service that I have provided to the world that have made a difference. Now, one of the things I do say, Tony, is I know that you said that proof of process is extremely important to you. And one of the things I say with mindset management and manifesting with Marcia is it's proven principles, it's practical application, it's profound results. And it's almost like a magic wand. Why? Because I don't know if you know it, but the origin of the word abracadabra is I create as I speak. And one of the things I work to do, not only for myself, but with those I work hand in hand with, which would include you, and making sure that your name and those people who you bring to the main stage is the same, is ensuring that as a professional, as a consultant, that I create the image and the results that are necessary to positively impact people's lives. So I thank you for the opportunity to share, and I welcome any feedback you have about me or what I desire to offer and how I desire to connect with you.
So can you just tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do? Because I hear what you said, but I didn't really get enough of what it is that you do and what you speak about.
Absolutely. So I speak about the power of thoughts and words, and how many times people think they need to do more in order to produce more, when the truth is, if you can shift the focus of your thoughts and your words, and quite frankly, your energy, you can sometimes open up the floodgates that cause what you want to come gushing toward you. So really having people look at their thought patterns, their behavior patterns, and their speech patterns to achieve the goals that they desire, either personally, professionally, spiritually, physically, or financially.
And how long do you speak? How long is your process? Do you speak for an hour, 2 hours? What's your sweet spot?
My sweet spot is about an hour. I have done it for as little as 10 minutes. I have done it for as long as 2 days as the only speaker. So I have the ability to tailor the message and the content to make it for the audience and what the person bringing me to the main stage desires.
And do you have a book or program that goes along with your speaking?
Tony, you have to go in about 20 seconds.
Okay. I didn't hear
So
you.
I've got to go on another call, but what you're offering, do you offer a program or a book beyond your speaking? Or
I do offer. I have 2 specific programs that I offer, which I'm glad to share and send that information to you. And I also offer one-on-one executive consulting.
Okay. Well, thank you for reaching out, and I got to go grab this call.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Mercedes, thank you. Great job. How did that feel for you?
It felt good.
All right.
It
Tony,
felt good.
if you had one word, what would the word be?
Better.
Cool. Fred, are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is about you solving Tony's challenges and getting to a yes. Whatever your yes is, take us in.
Hey, Tony. How's it going, brother?
Good, Fred. How are you?
Good. You've been busy lately.
Always.
Sounds amazing. So, just in line with our last conversation, I felt like maybe what would be useful for us here is maybe just diving in, one level deeper, and just starting to create some focus around your needs, your areas of need. And so, we do this for companies of all sizes, whether it's 7-digit, 8-digit, 9-digit up. We also do it for startups that are just starting off. So I just like to maybe create a first distinction of different categories, and just maybe you feed me some information and some guidance in terms of where you need the most help. Does that make sense?
Sure. Well,
Cool.
I'd have to, again, in line with also what some of your offerings are. I understand that, that you help people do that, but in what way it'd be helpful for me to know, at what
totally.
depth you can help me. Because I know, listen, I need a whole lot of help. I just don't know where,
Yeah. And the key thing is, we need to prepare a customized offering for you. So we don't want to do just everything. We want to have eyes on exactly what are the highest priority items, and build an offering that's really, really customized to you, irrespective of what your budget is. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is developing a topography and a hierarchy of needs. We understand exactly what you need. So the first area would be corporate structure. That's if you need help like tax planning or locking in your core partnership, or operating agreements, shareholder agreements, things of that nature. Second area would be if you need to lock in your assets. So if you guys are going to be doing R&D, if you guys are going to be developing proprietary materials, we need to lock in those rights, make sure those rights are proprietary, make sure they're managed properly. The third area would be managing your relationships. So, you said last time that, you brought on some pretty elite people as advisors and consultants. So maybe just focusing on their contracts, making sure their contracts are set up properly, making sure they're incentivized properly. If human resources are going to be your main driver of value, that's an area maybe we want to emphasize. And the fourth one would be really your environment. So handling issues like compliance, industry relationships, things of that nature. That's if you are in an industry where you feel you guys are regulated by complex laws, complex regulations, we can step in and give you some guidance there. So just intuitively, without even putting too much thought in there, what's your feeling in terms of which one of these four areas you feel would be the biggest area of need for you?
I would say that, certainly the corporate structure is always important because I went through a really challenging separation not in the not too distant past with a business partner, and locking in the assets with the proprietary IPs and that sort of thing. So I think that those would be the two that of those four that you mentioned. I mean, certainly all important.
And Tony, what we do is for the other two areas, we would sort of focus on a more like establishing a high floor. So there's a lot of low-hanging fruits, a lot of products that we can quickly deploy pretty cheaply to get you up to snuff without necessarily diving too deep. If you don't feel that, from a regulatory perspective, there's tons of regulations, let's not put too much money there. But definitely from a corporate structure and an assets perspective, what we're going to want to look at are things like tax efficiency, making sure you're legally efficient, that your assets and liabilities are separated, right? And then that marries itself really well with locking in your intellectual property, your assets, because a lot of those assets have to be managed in these core relationships. So we're going to want to dive into your shareholder agreement, your operating agreements, make sure those are well set up, and then maybe focus on an innovation strategy to see, where it is that you guys are generating the most value, and make sure that's locked in. What's your initial feeling in terms of those values in terms of intellectual property? Is it more going to be about your brand, or is it more going to be about technical innovation? What's your like things that could be covered by a patent, like scientific know-how and so forth? Which one intuitively feels the best?
Sure. I certainly think that that branding is going to be an important part. So tying that up, but the intellectual property and some of the things in licensing that we're working with, I'd like to be able to secure that and tie that up in an efficient way that makes sure that everyone is protected, along with the corporate structure. So this is definitely something that
you got to grab a call in about 20 seconds.
And there's also two little related areas. There's also two related areas we're gonna look at as well in mind with that. Number one is the nature of your agreements with your trademarks, with your licensing partners. We might have to take a look at that. And branding businesses typically drive a lot of value from human capital and human relationships. And so we're going to want to make sure from a personal information data protection perspective that you acquire all of your mailing lists, that you acquire all of the personal goodwill and information with your clients in a legal way. So that's great. I've got what I need to come up with a really bespoke, customized offering for you. And, at the end of the day, we're here to help you in your mission. So any way that we can move the needle for you, that's why we're here.
All right. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you,
Tom. Got to run.
All right. Tony, one word.
Great, informational, more connected.
Excellent.
Sorry, that was more than one word.
Mr. Anthony Delgado, let's start with Mercedes. What do you have? You're muted.
So give me the rundown. What I was a few minutes late hopping on. Give me the rundown.
Yeah.
I'm pitching, and what's the goal?
Yeah, so the goal of this second round, what you're scoring on, is how effectively they conveyed their identity to solve for the challenge that was outlaid. So for Mercedes, it was she wanted to be booked as a speaker. So how effectively did she convey her abilities as a speaker and get to a yes, dealing with any objection, pre-framing, et cetera. So that second round is all about solving it, in our language, heroic unique identity, in common parlance, USP, how effectively is USP delivered into getting to an agreement?
Got it. So, yeah, I think if I don't know, I'm not really a sales guy. I'm like the worst sales guy. That's why I try to surround myself with other.
Just what did you feel? It's just the bottom line is what did you feel for each of the work that they did in terms of being like who they were, how much did Tony like,
Yes. So again, I feel like, maybe there's more enthusiasm. I'm going to sound like a broken record. Probably there's more enthusiasm that can be had, but I think sometimes that happens because role playing and you sort of, you know that it's not a real situation. But yeah, I think that would be the one thing is like to just sound like you're on fire, and try to figure out what is that fire behind what it is that you're doing, and just convey that.
Okay. And so what do you have for scores for each?
I would say a 7 across the board again.
Okay. Thank you. Rocio, what do we got?
So for Mercedes, I felt that she was a lot more confident this time. Yet I felt like she was overselling a lot instead of asking more questions on the second round. For Fred, I really like the fact that you brought it back to him, to Tony, and the fact that you, during your products and your services, you brought him into the conversation. Like he was, you used a lot, the word "you" is for you, and you will be, and I can definitely appreciate that. You involved him into the product. Like I was seeing the process myself, of him doing that with you already. So definitely like that. And I didn't see a lot of improvement, I mean, it was good. It was like pretty engaging. So I would give Fred a 9. I'll bring it up to 9. And then Miss Mercedes, 8.
Okay, amazing. And Jake, what do you have, sir?
I have so Fred the better. I liked his questioning and like where he was going with his questions. I give him an 8, and his process, I feel he was kind of, and I'm the same way. I lead with my head sometimes, and I just kind of just try to get down to the brass tacks. But when you can kind of connect the two, you just get a different sense, like you had commented earlier, Sean. So he did better on this call. For jumping over to Mercedes, I would say that she oversold. And, me spending 2 decades in sales, it's just kind of hard to hear that, because if you've got something and powerful and meaning, like that has meaning, which I know she does, I can just sense it, I feel it, that sometimes when you oversell, it almost diminishes the value of what you're bringing to the marketplace. So I just feel that maybe she could have took a different approach, and for that reason, I give it 5.
Okay, awesome. So let's see, what was present for me, thank you guys, and I want to get Tony's feedback, and we're coming down to home stretch. So what was present for me with Mercedes was that I loved what she said. The idea of working in prisons and sharing her heart, and her heroic, unique identity story of working with CEOs to people that were homeless. I was like, wow, like I was impressed. I loved her rhythm of communication. It really flexed deep intellectual muscle. It was like, wow, when she dropped it on process, I thought that was all great. Perhaps I think an access point would be, to speak to Jake's feeling oversold, might have been a shift energies. So it was like, yeah, so, Tony, can I share a little bit about myself? I've been speaking for 22 years, and I had the privilege of speaking to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and to speaking to people that are homeless. I've spoken in prisons consistently because I love to give back in this world and believe that if transformation can happen in the boardroom and in the prisons, we need it both places, by the way, that incredible things can happen. And so I heard you say there's 3 things that you're interested in bringing a speaker in. And they are ... if I could share a quick story about, when I was speaking for 15 minutes and it happened, and 2 hours and it happened, ... But most importantly, Tony, I want to know how you're feeling about, what can I answer more for you about what you're looking for? Are you hearing it in me, or have I done just like a poor job of explaining who and what I am? Some segment of displaying that greatness that is clearly there, and then moving back into conversational humility, drop in with a question. Tony, any thoughts on that? And you can give final feedback and we'll take it home. What do you think of what I just shared? And any final thoughts for our awesome contestants?
So no, I love what you shared. And Mercedes, I think that it's like, I actually what Jake said of conveying the energy, because when you're speaking and having the energy of the excited energy, and again, really you have to match and mirror who it is you're speaking with anyway, as you know. But what Sean had said with sharing an example, you can speak for 15 minutes and here's an example, I turned this around, and you share with stories. Of course, that works with me. So it really all depends. You've got to know who your target is, right? Who you're speaking to. But sharing, hey, listen, I can do it in 15 minutes, and here's a quick story how this happened, and and here's what I would probably do if I could just give you a little piece. You say, listen, I've worked in prisons. I work with CEOs and I work with people in prisons, and then I go back to the CEOs and make sure they don't wind up there. Or, you kind of like put a little spin on it, because I'm one that uses humor to diffuse things, because to me, humor is always an icebreaker, almost regardless of where you're at. So I really play on the fact that you speak in boardrooms and you speak in prisons, and you kind of, maybe make a play on that. But I love what you do, and the fact that you can speak to the CEOs and you're speaking to the homeless guy, and because mindset really is so important, so vitally important. So I love what you're doing. And I think just the energy transference, as Sean talks about all the time, heart to heart instead of head to head, right? When you speak from your head, it gets heard in the head. When you speak from your heart, it gets heard in the heart. So that's something that I've shared before, and I think it's so important. And that transference of energy and that connection, I think would be awesome for you. Fred, spot on. The second time around, you kind of went deeper into what the processes are that so many people that are in business need. So I think it was gold. I think you did great. I wouldn't give you a 5, Mercedes. I'm just saying. I think you did better than that. I'm sorry, Mercedes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll get it next. I'll get it next time. I got you. Matter of fact, I even spelled your name differently so I can make sure I had it right, and I just didn't.
Tony, beautiful feedback. And Fred, Mercedes, both of you displayed courage, brilliance, genius. Great job. Fred, any final words on your experience?
I think this is always so interesting. It's doing it in such a short period of time. Focuses it forces you to bring everything together and concentrate everything. It's almost like a magnified sort of X-ray into your process, and you always emerge with so many insights and so many pointers of how you can improve. It's obviously tough to be put on that spot of bringing everything you have in a 3-minute period. But it kind of really puts the finger on where you might be struggling, and gives you such access to listening from 5 different people. I think it's a fantastic format. I think it's an unbelievable growth opportunity. I feel that our friend Jake was really tough on both of us. I don't think I've gotten a 6 in a report card since grade school, and that was not a fun day at the Pinto household, let me tell you. but it's an amazing learning experience. So thank you so much, Sean, for setting it up.
Thank you, brother. And Mercedes, how was it for you?
So it was good, but I'll agree with Fred on the 5. And thank you so much, Tony, for reiterating. That would have been one of those cases where I would have wrote a whole entire complete essay to the teacher and said, that's below average work, and I am apparently extraordinary. So that's one of those cases where I would.
We agree on that, Mercedes. We agree on that, you and I.
However, the feedback is valuable because perception is everything. And regardless of how magnificent you think you are, and the information is that you are conveying, if it is not perceived and interpreted the way you believe you have conveyed it, then it means that you need to take a second look at how you do what you do. And so that's what it has given to me. It has given me the push to relook at how I do what I do, specifically when I'm dealing with different audiences of people, and how do you tweak in real time when you just found out who your audience is. So it's helpful for me.
That is an
I'll
extraordinary.
just jump in there for a second and say, damn it, this is the energy that we needed when you were having that.
I was thinking the same thing. That is
Really different.
So change my grade then.
beautiful job, wonderful access. I love the humility. I love the fun energy. Fantastic. As we take it home, Rocio, if somebody's like, hey, should we go on that thing and judge or do something? What say you about your experience?
I enjoyed it. I learned so much by listening, and I learned a lot when just about how I'm just paying attention and really giving the best that I could in regards to what can help, you know. So it was really a really great experience. Thank you so much. I learned a lot from you, Sean. Thank you. From Tony, thank you so much. It was great. I would definitely do this again.
Well, and thank you for representing the world of CEOs and being. Thank you, Rocio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jake, how was your experience?
Jake dropped off, looks like.
We did okay. And Anthony Delgado here or no?
He's still here.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm here.
How was it for you today?
It was great. I mean, it's great to see the community that you guys have built. Sean, one thing that I've noticed about you, and it's something in leadership that I'm working on, is you're really good at praising and giving credit to others. And it's so important. I can tell you're listening, and you're really like receiving of people and really looking for their greatness, and then being able to share that with them, share their greatness to them, and build them up. It's something that I've noticed in a lot of great leaders. I went to Warren Buffett's shareholder conference last year when it was in person, and that was another thing that I noticed. Like great leaders, they know how to empower others, and that was something that I definitely noticed on this call with you, Sean, and with the whole community. It's like building people up, which is great.
Anthony, you brought tears to my eyes. Thank you. And what is present? My grandfather's funeral. I had the privilege of delivering the eulogy in 1999. And I said, driving up to my grandparents' beach house on Long Beach Island on Webster Avenue, and I said, on 7 Webster, I said, I wish everybody in the world could feel what it felt like to do that for my life. And loved the way my grandfather loved people, to be acknowledged and validated. And it's just an extension of that. So thank you for seeing that in me. That is my heart. And I'm just paying it forward for what my grandfather, who did not get out of 8th grade and was a blind man, did for the world and our family. Thanks, brother. And that's a beautiful way, Mr. Anthony, Rocio, Jake, Mercedes, Tony, Fred, Vivian, Fernando for launching. Love you all. Thank you. And let's go love people. Let's help people step into their greatness. And that's what it's all about. I'm Blinded Real. Thank you.